Hi, welcome to Loft 801. My name is Diego, and today I'm talking about VHS Halloween. It is the latest installment in the long-running franchise and its first holiday-themed entry. This one drops us back into the chaotic, spliced-together world of analog horror with spooky season trick-or-treating twists. Like in last year's VHS Beyond, some are pretty good, and some could have been a little bit better. Quick heads up, this review may contain the occasional minor spoiler, but I'll do my best to avoid them. Every VHS movie has some sort of wraparound segment that ties everything together, and this one is one of my favorites, Diet Phantasma. This wraparound plays like an Outlast-style clinical drug trial where participants are encouraged or in some cases manipulated into drinking a neon bubbling beverage named Phantasma. The idea is simple, and each time we watch one of these segments, we get a better understanding of the effects. I really enjoyed the idea of this segment because there are predatory companies out there who do run experiment drug trials like this, taking advantage of people and sweeping consequences under the rug. These segments were goofy, gnarly, and definitely set the mood of the film. A commercial gone wrong sort of vibe. Again, this wraparound narrative reminded me of Outlast, so that was an even greater reason for me to enjoy it. The only downside to this wraparound is that like many VHS wraparounds, the ideas aren't fully explored. Some beats cut too quickly, some transitions feel rushed, and the ending doesn't wrap the anthology in a satisfying bow. The anthology itself starts off with Coochie Coochie Coo. It's a short film that feels like a fever dream following two high school girls, Lacey and Kaylee, going out for one final night of trick-or-treating. They eventually find a house no one dares to enter, and inside are horrors beyond childhood nightmares. A monstrous mommy, squirming fetuses, and milk trails make for some raw and grotesque horror imagery. This segment nailed the tension when it wanted to. The dread and the mystery of the house, the unavoidable trap, and the transformation of the victims are brutal. The only complaint I have about this segment is that some of the found footage framing and editing can sometimes feel a little shaky. The quick cuts make it hard to get a sense of scope within the home. Other than that, I think this segment works really well as a trick-or-treating gone wrong cautionary tale. Also, I think the acting in this film was great. The next film, Supra Sic Infra, is the most supernatural and occult-y film in the bunch. It involves a mansion, a massacre at a Halloween party, occult sigils, a survivor recounting events, and a horrifying final sequence where reality twists. This segment cuts between a police interview, reconstruction footage, and the flashbacks of the massacre. Visually and conceptually, this film is ambitious. I love the upside-down POV and the cosmic occult horror. What didn't work for me in this one was the incoherent horror logic. The narrative is forced and it makes the tension feel fake. To make up for this, the body horror is wicked and the acting was good. So overall, I think this was a solid film as the second entry. The next film in the anthology is one of my favorites, but also one of the weakest. Fun Size follows a group of adults who go trick-or-treating. They find a bowl of weird candy with a one per person sign. When the group takes more than one candy, surprise surprise, the candy bowl is cursed. Taking more than one sends them into a backrooms hellish candy factory where a candy mascot named Fun Size tortures and transforms them into candy bars. Decapitations, caramel-coated limbs, skull crushing, the gore is completely off the charts. I'm sorry to bring up Outlast left and right, but this one genuinely reminded me of the Outlast trials, especially the factory setting with Mother Gooseberry. It's twisted, creative, weird, and the pacing and tone hit a nice balance between horror, dark humor, and surrealism. This segment is disgusting, hilarious, and absolutely nails a twisted Halloween candy nightmare. My only complaint about this segment, and it's a very major one, is that the acting is so forced. It is completely overacted and very stiff. The dialogue and the actors don't feel natural. That adds to some of the humor, but it's also overdone enough to stick out like a sore thumb. Kidprint is the darkest and most disturbing short in the entire film. It follows a small-town video store owner, Tim Kaplan, who makes Kidprint tapes, video IDs of children in case they go missing. Lately, children have been disappearing, being found, tortured, and mutilated. This short ends in extreme psychological and physical horror with skinning, face-peeling betrayal, and a twisted final act where justice isn't served. I think the reason this film worked so well is because it's unnerving, visceral, and disturbingly plausible. This film felt grounded. There is horror in the fear of losing children, trusting the wrong people, and systemic threats. This is a mature horror that isn't focused on just gore. It's a lens on twisted human evil. We've all seen the news stories of people being murdered by their close friends or their loved ones. We've all heard about serial killers like Ted Bundy and John Wayne Gacy. This film captures that feeling of there's a serial killer next door and nobody knows. So I don't have any complaints about this film, and I think it's a great addition to this franchise, even if it is a little bit heavier. The final short film is Home Haunt. It's kind of a Halloween nostalgia hit with a father, his teen son, and their traditions of building a homemade haunted house. But when a cursed record gets played during a haunt, the decorations come to life. Skeletons, monsters, ghosts. All the fun becomes carnage and chaos unfolds. I loved how this film nailed the Halloween atmosphere. I've been to neighborhood haunts and haunted houses before, and this film perfectly nailed what they look like and feel like. This film wasn't necessarily so much a horror, but rather a comedy. What made this film funny was the timing of the comedy. It worked really well, well with the escalating dread. As with some of the other segments, the found footage shakiness and the quick editing can sometimes undermine the immersion and make it hard to give the haunt a sense of scope. However, all in all, this film brings the Halloween spirit full circle. VHS Halloween is exactly the kind of messy, chaotic, and creatively unhinged anthology I expect from this franchise. It's uneven, sure, but that's part of the charm of this franchise. When a segment hits, it really hits, and when it stumbles, it still swings big. Between the gnarly wraparound, the twisted takes on trick-or-treating, the candy factory nightmare, the grounded brutality of Kidprint, and the nostalgic chaos of home haunt, this anthology captures the spirit of Halloween in all its playful, gruesome, and over-the-top glory. Even with the occasional shaky editing, patchy logic, or weaker segments, I had a good time with this one. At the end of the day, it delivers exactly what I want from a VHS movie: creativity, gore, weirdness, and the kind of analog horror energy that makes this franchise stand out. For me, this is a fun, wild addition to the series and one worth watching, especially during spooky season. Thank you for listening to my review of VHS Halloween. If you enjoyed the content, leave a like and hit subscribe. If you did not enjoy the content, I'm sending fun size after you. As always, I would love to read what you have to say, so leave a comment and let me know what you're thinking. Also, if there's something you want to see reviewed, don't forget to let me know and I will do my best to get to it. Lastly, if you want to see some more from me, then you can check out my vlogs linked up above or my podcast, Good Friends. Again, thank you for watching. My name is Diego and I will see you next time.